Daredevil Born Again, episode 2, Optics. And it's your boy Icon with another Marvel television review, Disney Plus review for you. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like and or subscribe. Check me out all over social media, and let's get started. So in episode 2, it starts off with the Kingpin, who, like, he's mayor now. He's trying to do some shit, but his legal team, they're just telling him, like, kind of fall back and don't necessarily try to make waves. So the Kingpin gives a speech, and when he gives a speech, he's just like, I'm not gonna tolerate vigilantism, and anyone who goes out in a costume, is gonna get processed to the fullest extent of the law. And then he starts name dropping. He goes, "We don't need freaks with skulls on their chests or men in spider costumes." And I was like, oh. And it was like, or devil horned, individuals. He's like, Fisk will save this city. So now he's trying to do that, but also he's in a situation where his legal team or his manager, she tells him that although he's very popular with the younger crowd, like the 18 to 40 demographic, she said that the older crowd is basically where he's struggling because his wife, Vanessa, she's not really a part of his whole mayoral campaign situation. When you win, like when you become mayor, when you win, when you're on the podium, when you're on the platform, like your family's supposed to be there, your wife's supposed to be there. Like she does a very good job of keeping herself scarce. So the older generation, they're kind of looking at like, oh, we value family and a husband and wife and good old family values. And it doesn't seem like he has that. So it's a little shaky. So she just told him, she was just like, look, I ain't trying to be personal and all, but you're going to have to fix that. So, he's thinking of, that's something he got to think about. There is a gentleman, Spanish gentleman, whose name is Hector. He's on his way to the subway. And when he's in the subway, he sees this other guy getting his ass beat by two people. All three people, they're regular plain clothes, looking people. Hector jumps in, he tries to save the guy, and in the midst of him fighting, he's fighting the two guys to try to save the one guy who got beat up. The guy who was getting beat up ran off and he dipped. So Hector's fighting the other two guys, and then one of those two guys, he tripped and fell off the platform and got hit by a train. So the other guy stood up, finally pulled out his badge, said NYPD, and they arrested him claiming that he's the one who killed the cop. And I'm like, that's 100% bullshit. So, he's in jail, and instead of them just like handcuffing him and going through the proper legal channels, they start beating his ass, and they're already calling him a cop killer, and he didn't actually do anything yet. And it's funny to me because even when he was on trial, they're like, oh, bail is denied. And they were like, why is bail denied? They're like, because he's a cop killer. And I'm like, he didn't, like, that hasn't been proven. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? And the funny thing is, it's like, oh, like, they're so quick to judge a potentially innocent person because they think that person's a cop killer. But my whole thing is, where's that same energy when those same cops are out there killing innocent people? Like, I don't see, like the weight of the world coming down for that one. So it's a very touchy situation, but it's also very interesting because it's also real. It's true. Like those things do happen in New York. So, I mean, I live here. But so now Murdoch, he's at the police station talking to another client. And then while he's talking to another client, he overhears this gentleman, Hector, getting his ass beat. So Murdoch decides to intervene. He goes in. He tells the police that he's going to be his lawyer and that he's going to take his trial. He talks to Hector. He's like, Hector, I'm going to be your lawyer. And then he's like, is there anything that you're not telling me? Hector says no. But he did say that he had a wife. So then Murdoch gets McDuffie, and he also gets the retired cop who's basically his personal private eye. He tells the two of them to go down and talk to Hector's wife so they can find out some more information because he feels that Hector's hiding something. And then we find out, through talking to the wife, we find out that Hector is actually the White Tiger. And I don't know how I feel about that because, and I'm gonna be like full transparency. The only thing I know about the White Tiger character is based off of the Spider-Man and his amazing friends like animated. I think her name was Ava. So that's all I know about the White Tiger character. Now, I could be wrong. Like, and we did see a picture of her too, because when the retired cop was snooping around his house, there was a picture of a young woman like up on his wall. So I assume that's Ava, his daughter. But my whole thing is, the White Tiger character to me specifically doesn't fit in New York City. I feel like if we're going to introduce the White Tiger, like, shouldn't that be like introduced in Black Panther or something? Like, shouldn't that be, it should be something more I don't know. Like, it seems more like a Black Panther. It doesn't seem like a regular. Because the thing is, when you think of the White Tiger, you think like he's some guy who like lived in a village or something. Like, you don't think that he's just some random dude that lives in an apartment in the like in the Upper East Side. It's very weird. Listen, I don't know about. And then it's like to see him running around New York City in the White Tiger. It's very weird. It's very weird. Listen, I don't. I don't have a problem with them introducing the character. I just don't know how I feel about introducing the character in this particular setting. I said, this is strange to me. But anyway, so Murdoch finds out that he's the White Tiger. He's like, why didn't you tell me? And then he was just like, that had nothing to do with it because he said I wasn't dressed as White Tiger when I intervened and when I tried to help that guy get beat up on the platform. He said the guy tripped. He's like, I didn't push him, but now everybody thinks I'm a cop killer. So then Murdoch's like, don't worry, we're going to help get you. We're going to help get you. He said, but you got to tell me everything because he said, I can't help you win if I don't know all the ways in which I can lose. So then he apologized for not telling him he was White Tiger, and now the two of them have moved on. Now, in the last review, there was one particular character that I didn't mention, and she was in this episode because she rolled up on Wilson Fisk because she's friends with one of the guys on Fisk Detail. I think his name was Daniel. There's something fishy about Daniel, but we haven't discovered that yet. And the other guy, he reminds me of Fisk's right-hand man in season 1, the one with the glasses that Karen Page killed. He looks just like him. But but she comes in, and this black female, she's been interviewing people throughout New York City regarding Wilson Fisk, and then we find out her name is B.B. Rorick. She's the niece of Ben Rorick, which was the black reporter that Wilson Fisk killed in season 2 to the point where Karen eventually stole that poor man's job. So this is his niece, and now that we've gotten Karen out of the way, thank God, BB can step in and she could be that person. So and I'm happy for that. So she goes in, she talks to Fisk, and the thing is, I think she knows that Fisk killed her uncle. I think she knows that. So her motive of why she wants to talk to Fisk and why she's investigating Fisk, her motive for all that still hasn't been revealed yet. But I think it's pretty obvious based on the scene. It's obvious she knows that he's the one that killed her uncle. So that's not going to be a surprise when that reveal happens. So I said, but she basically told him, she was like, look, she said that the cops ain't fucking with you. And if you lose the cops, you lose the city. As a matter of fact, the commissioner is about to retire and then leave you in a shitty situation. So then Fisk went to go talk to the commissioner. The commissioner was like, yo, you're just some fat son of a bitch. He's like, once a criminal, always a criminal. I'm going to take you down. So Fisk, being himself, he goes back into his old ways. So when the commissioner comes in to resign, he was like, oh, if you resign, he showed him a picture of his son and I guess his wife eating at a diner. He was like, we've got pictures of your family. Also, if you resign, all the overtime for the police denied, the pension denied, all the benefits for the new recruits denied. So then he basically stormed on him. He was like, yo, if you quit, I ain't giving you shit and I'm probably going to kill your son. So the guy tucked his tail between his legs and he's like, fine, I'll stay, Fisk, but you ain't going to. He said, be careful what you wish for. So now that's it. And then Fisk walks away. Matt's still dating this woman, and the woman psychiatrist, she ended up at the end of the episode, she ended up being the marriage counselor for Fisk and for Vanessa because, again, like they said in the beginning of the episode, in order for his poll numbers to go up with the older generation, he has to fix his marital situation. He don't care about that. He just wants his wife back. So they're trying to work that out. But it's just ironic because the two of them are having marriage counseling with Matt Murdock's girlfriend. So that's obviously going to turn into some shit as we get closer and closer to the to the end of the season. And then then finally Matt ended up finding the witness, the guy who was getting his ass beat on the subway. Matt found him. And then when Matt found the guy, he also heard that the police were on their way to basically kill him because there's crooked cops in New York City. Surprise, surprise, ladies and gentlemen. So the crooked cops who knows he didn't actually kill the guy, they were on their way to silence the witness. And then Matt showed up first. He told the witness, he was like, yo, get out of it. Because the guy, the retired officer, his name is Cherry. So he told the witness, he said, go outside. My friend Cherry, he's waiting for you and he'll take you to safety. The two crooked cops, they busted in. They were just like, oh, where's the witness? And then Murdoch was like, he left and you can't find him. And then they got mad. They tried to beat up on Murdoch because he's blind. So while they were kicking the shit out of Murdoch, he got mad at one point and he was just like, yo, I can't take it anymore. And then he just jumped up and he whooped both their asses. See, this is interesting though, because although he broke one of their arms, he kicked the shit out of both of them, but the two of them can't really say anything because one, then it's going to be, well, why were you at this guy's house anyway? Because, that's not supposed to happen. And two, you can't go back to the precinct and say you got your ass beat by a blind guy. No one's going to believe that. So, I mean, his secret is pretty much safe, but now it ended with him screaming because I think he's getting the itch, to be Daredevil. Because even this whole thing, the whole episode is called Optics, whatever, but it mirrored both Fisk and Murdoch because both of them were in situations where they were trying to do the right thing and something forced them to kind of like go back into their old habits. Fisk with threatening the son and Murdoch with busting out the ninja kung fu. But that was how this particular episode ended. I'm still confused over the White Tiger thing, but until episode 3, thank you for tuning in. So we'll see where this goes. Like I said, I don't know honestly how I feel about White Tiger being introduced in New York City. I don't know where this is headed, but there's another vigilante. One piece of interesting information. One of those crooked cops that actually tried to kill the witness had the Punisher tattoo on his wrist. And I heard that the Punisher is supposed to be in the season at some point. He's supposed to make an appearance. So maybe that has something. Maybe like the Punisher's the kingpin of like a secret police unit that goes around killing people. But I don't know. But it's definitely some very interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Share your questions, comments, and concerns down below, and we will continue to talk about it. Check me out on X. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, where you can leave your questions, comments, and or concerns. Also, check out my other reviews because I got a Harley Quinn up on my channel. I got episode 1 for Daredevil Born Again, and we'll keep rolling on for some wrestling, and eventually I'm going to get to that Captain America. So that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in.